Sand whales are gigantic creatures, probably the biggest and heaviest animal found on the planet. They crawl through the desert, sucking microorganisms through the grains of sand, destroying everything in their path. They carry colonies of calcareous bacteria on their backs, producing large white formations. These bacteria are totally dependent on sand whales. These animals are solitary and extremely territorial. Even if they are slow creatures, fights between individuals can be violent. They are hermaphroditic, both male and female, so they need a partner for reproduction anyway, which is quite difficult as they don't need to reproduce at the same moments. When a whale needs to reproduce, it has to find a whale that has the same need of reproduction at the same time. Fajnosaura is a lizard-like animal with venomous spines on its head. It is a fast runner who enjoys the heat of the desert. It catches small animals with its tail that it uses as a plier. This allows it to catch prey while running. These lizards are numerous in the desert and are an important source of food for bigger predators. Telescopeis is also a rept. Eel-like animal, but its shape is really unusual. It has very long arms that fold in on themselves and throws them on any insect or other small flying creature that passes above it. Only adult specimens are known. Their cycle of life and reproduction are totally unknown. But adults are immobile creatures. When they find a nice place with many prey, they just stay all their life and die here. Negtoscerus is a giant desert creature. Despite its huge horn on its head, it seems to be a harmless herbivore. It protects its young from the sun using its massive flat tail to provide shade. He can have more than 10 cubs per litter. They are vulnerable to the predators and to the heat of the sun. These animals are adapted to long walks through the desert. With its many legs, it hardly ever gets tired. Also, it doesn't need much water to survive, but when it found a lake, the animal stops there for days and lets its young to enjoy the freshness. Hippocapra looks like an antelope from Earth and share basically the same behavior. They are gregarious animals that rarely stray from desert water points. Also, fast runners. Only ambush or flying carnivorous animals can catch them, but an adult Hippocapra bears long horns on its head and neck, complicating their capture. Plants are rare in the desert, but their body is able to ingest all possible nutrients from every food they ingest. The flying tiger is an extremely rare carnivorous flying creature. We don't know anything about their behavior because only few specimens has been seen. It has only one leg and a long tail. We suppose it's an efficient predator that can attack animals the same size as it. The giant lemmier is a marvelous huge animal that could have been a dinosaur from Earth at the Mesozoic period. It is a peaceful herbivore that live alone all its life, encountering congeners only for breeding periods. Only the males are this colorful and females are smaller. Like the flying tiger, they are rare animals. They live far away in the desert and rarely approach the edges of canyons. They don't seem to be dangerous for humans as they are ignoring them, but their huge size can be a problem if they approach human constructions. The Greenirds are a plentiful species that lives on Betelgeuse. Human colonists on the planet used them to detect when predators approached. Without fail, when a predator approached a village, they started to scream in a particular way. They are found everywhere in the canyons of the planet, eating little insects and fruits. This is the most abundant animal and a quite huge source of food for many carnivores. They never leave the canyons because they feel protected by the vegetation, which is absent in the desert. And since they are green, they can easily hide among plants. Blong is a graceful animal that lives on the vertical walls of the canyons. It eats fruits and nectars, flying like earth hummingbird from flowers to fruits, but rarely cross the large canyons. It remains mostly on the same side of the canyons. The crossing is too dangerous because many predators roam the rivers at the bottom. It therefore never leaves the protection offered by vegetation. Maestrol is a big predatory bird that can eat almost everything smaller than it. It has 3 sharp tongues in its mouth that allows it to catch its prey. Once caught, there's no chance to escape. The sexual dimorphism is really impressive in this species. Males are big and colorful, while females are only 1 meter wingspan and totally black. Males stay with the young Maestrols and females go back and forth all the time to bring back food. They are polygamous, a male fertilizes an average of 5 to 7 females per breeding season. Eels are an intelligent species native to Betelgeuse 6. They were given their name by humans based on the sound that they make. The eels have an extraordinary anatomy. They have skeletons but their 4 limbs are boneless. Instead of bones they have a sort of very supple cartilaginous tube surrounded by powerful muscles. They are amazingly strong. They have a peculiar digestive system. Their energy source is a battery that they carry in their stomach cavity. It allows the eels to survive without eating as they have no mouth or digestive system. The only thing they consume, apart from the air they breathe, is a little water through their nostrils from time to time. For the most part the eels are primitive, they do not have overly complex tools or weapons, mostly using stones and their incredibly strength for defense. They have constructed temples within caves, and know how to use fire. Between themselves they seem to use sound to communicate, although the noises they make are not very diverse and can mostly be simplified as IUM. They live in social groups and are generally passive. Dreadfuls are dangerous carnivorous animals of the canyons. We know nothing about their anatomy and their weird upright tail, but when they are excited but the hunt the tail makes strange noises. It sounds quite like the rattlesnake tail from Earth. It seems that there is no special hierarchy between them. The strongest gain the upper hand, hunt and colonize territories, and the weakest benefit from the food and the progress of the pack. They hunt in herds and are feared by most other animals. They are almost the apex predators of their ecosystem. They have only one known natural predator, the surprising bear cub. Arbolader is a formidable ambush predator. It has a crossbow mechanism in its own body, so it projects its sharp arrow at its prey from a distance of over 30 meters. Its camouflage makes it invisible. Its prey do not even see themselves die because the attack is stealthy. When humans arrived at the planet, this was the first dangerous animals they met when they came down to the canyons. It is probably the most formidable predator on the planet, apart from the cave fauna. The bear cubs are a surprising predator of the planet. They appear docile and harmless and are quite gentle with most other animals they meet. But this appearance destabilizes their prey, such as the dreadfuls. In reality, the bear cubs have a gigantic mouth, with 3 rows of sharp teeth and an extremely powerful jaw. What is surprising is that despite their carnivorous diet, they only attack predators of their environment, leaving herbivores and small animals alone. They were very sympathetic to early humans, and were used to defend them against the dangerous predators of the canyons. This big flat slug has an arboreal lifestyle and eat fruits in top of the vertical canopy. Its small wings aren't used to fly, but they allow the slug to bed. Cling to trees during its long sleep. It is known to sleep most of its life. Plast is a small carnivorous bird-like creature. Their nickname, flying piranha, comes from the fact that they attack large prey in flocks, slowly killing the animal by tearing off pieces of flesh one by one. Their large beak can attack the toughest skin and even bones. Vasulas are arthropods that live in colonies in nests that they build between the branches of trees. As soon as an animal is injured or falls asleep on a branch near a nest, Vasulas arrive in large numbers and cover their prey to devour it. They are so many to attack that when viewed from above the branch and the prey turn completely red. The Boliath is a marvelous animal from the bottom of the canyons. It is omnivorous and peaceful. Although solitary, it likes spending time with a congener when it crosses paths with one. Males are really big animals and fear no predators thanks to their immense size, but also because they can defend themselves violently with their powerful paws. Boliath can't climb canyon walls, so they stay at the bottom, and their territories are very narrow between walls and rivers. It is likely that they live part of their life in the caves that open into the canyons. Palister is a really strange animal with 10 legs and a massive beak. It probably uses its large beak to eat fruits and nuts from small trees. It is not an arboreal creature, but it moves with ease to the walls of the canyons. It is solitary and nocturnal, and the females lay one huge egg that contains 2 young specimens, a male and a female. It is also an excellent swimmer, but crossing the rivers to reach the other side is too dangerous. Palister is often preyed by predatory pisces. This marvelous bird is carnivorous. It is probably the biggest flying creature of Betelgeuse with the flying tiger. Its behavior is unknown as it has been rarely seen. It is probably because they live most of their time on the coastal zone of the small ocean. But humans never approach this part of the planet. Ipsil is an ambush crustacean waiting for a small animal to come to drink at the water point. It jumps out of the water and pierces its prey with the pointed horn of its head. It also has 2 spikes on its first pair of legs. There is a soft part at the back of its body. This one wraps around its prey in order to hold it. This animal is frequently found in calm waterholes or areas with slower river currents. Patome is a big insect-like creature. Despite its repulsive appearance, it only feeds on aquatic plants and is not dangerous. It appreciates the underground hot springs that come out of the caves. Calik is a strange animal that lives in the rivers of the canyon, eating fish and insects. It has no hind legs, which makes it totally dependent on water points for resting, but rivers are dangerous places, so it has to stay alert at all times. Its very showy yellow color could indicate that its pulpit is poisonous, but these are only supposition. However, it is a very wild animal which does not allow itself to be approached easily. Here is another very astonishing creature. 80% of Helogrifium's body is a pocket of helium which allows it to float on the hot air currents of the canyons. Helium is believed to come from a certain variety of fruit that is almost completely its diet. This animal is a solitary and it does not seem to fear predators, and for good reason. With its thin body and its huge pouch, there is nothing interesting to eat in this animal. The young look like little balloons that get stuck in tree branches, filtering pollen from the air for food. It is probable that Calik and Helogrifium are related, as these 2 species have no hind legs. Blong is a beautiful fish from deep waters of the rivers where the currents are lower. Its meat is excellent and has been an important source of food for humans who dared to descend into the canyons. But its blue color makes it invisible in water. Fortunately, it is a very curious and stupid fishnet used to human traps. They are very easily caught. Berlioz is a big freshwater fish and, contrary to the Blong, it inhabits the surface water more tumultuous. This is a predator for smaller fish and small animals that come too close to the surface. Such as the salmons on Earth, they travel upstream to their source to reproduce and lay eggs, and descend rivers to the ocean throughout their existence. Also known as the river shark, Celendriamis is the apex predators of the canyon's rivers. A specimen was estimated to be over 20 meters long, swimming at the surface with its 2 dorsal fins emerged. It also appears to be very fast. Despite its size, a Celendriamis can jump completely out of water, and with its gigantic mouth it can gulp down an entire prey in one bite. The presence of an animal of such size in these rivers shows that the canyons can be deep and wide in some places. We know that they are not adapted to the salty waters of the oceans. Telescopeis is a strange little animal the size of a cat. We know nothing about its behavior, as it is hard to approach them. We don't know what they eat because it has a big mouth but no tooth. It can retract its eyes like snails on Earth. When they touch something, they are nocturnal, and it don't seems to have a good vision. Lustrosaura is a colorful reptile that spend most of its time in the freshwater streams, eating fish, crustaceans and small animals. It is found on smaller rivers where there are fewer predators and where it is easier for it to hide in the rocks. It is a fast and agile animal that rarely escapes its prey. Alderan is a surprisingly large animal for the canyon ecosystem, but with its long legs it can easily climb into trees when some trails are impassable. But it is still more comfortable on the ground in shallow rivers where its long legs prevent him from getting wet while walking without problem. It feeds on fish that it waits patiently without moving in the streams. Actually, only one specimen has been seen since humans arrived on the planet. Gorgomoth is a good-sized arthropod that lives in very large groups of around 100 individuals. They are dangerous animals. They burrow in the sandy grounds of the caves and wait for an animal to pass above them and come out of the ground to attack it. With their powerful mandibles they can scramble the bones of their prey and finally immobilize it. They are also scavengers, swarming in numbers to devour anything they can digest without any hierarchy. These animals are very numerous in the cave's floor. They are found especially in the darker areas. Chester is one of the less terrifying cave creatures, a very fearful scavenger animal that remains hidden in the rocky recesses of caves. It silently follows animals that appear sick or injured while waiting for them to die so it can devour them. They are solitary animals, but it is not uncommon to see them following the same prey without fighting between them for the same prey. To be followed by this animal is rather a bad sign. This flying animal is quite big for an animal that flies in a cavernous space. But the caves are not dark places. There are a lot of bioluminescent mushrooms that light up the wall, so you can see there as during a full moon night on Earth. They move in pairs regardless of their gender, perhaps to defend each other in the event of an attack by a predator. Tatzel has the body of a large snake and vaguely the head of a large dog, which makes him very strange and confusing. It is a mycophagous animal. It mainly feeds on bioluminescent mushrooms. It is rather slow with little means of defense apart from its forelegs, which have only one big claw. In general, when attacked, its best defense is to escape in waterways. It is an excellent swimmer and its greenish color camouflages it very well in the water. It makes very characteristic little sonorous ponds which echo throughout the corridor of the caves. In appearance, Fair is a very bizarre animal, unlike any other on Betelgeuse or Earth. It is a solitary hermaphrodite creature that feeds on small arthropods or corpses. It seems not to fear the other cave monsters because its flesh is inedible, totally poisonous. It also fears no one because it is a very fast animal with unpredictable reactions and endowed with a very fierce intelligence. It has been seen to kill other animals neither for self-defense nor to eat them, which is very disturbing behavior. But that explains why no animal dares to approach it. Lynths are even more terrifying creatures because of their starving humanoid appearance and gigantic mouths that open to hundreds of razor-sharp teeth. It is unknown if they are intelligent, but they live in a small community of about 20 individuals. Obviously they are carnivores. They all attack at the same time, threaten their prey by slamming their teeth. With the echoes, the prey does not know where to flee. The lynths then manage to get it stuck in a dead end. As soon as a prey hears the little tick 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 noise generated by the clicking of their teeth, it is doomed. Belladon is the largest cave animal. It lives mainly in underground rivers near cave openings, venturing very little into deep corridors where it would risk getting stuck. Despite its imposing size, it is a placid animal that only attacks fish and crustaceans. In fact, it does not behave aggressively towards humans. It is even rather curious towards them and observes them for long times without moving, like cows on Earth. Its skin is very thick and it is a strong animal. Only the biggest cave predators dare to attack the Belladon. Here is the apex predator of the Betelgeuse's underground ecosystem. Lucifer is an immense animal. It attacks and devours almost any animal it meets. With its completely black skin, it is invisible in the corridors of the caves. Its powerful legs can cut down large prey with a single stroke. Each paw has a pair of 30 cm claws, and with its tail, which serves as a pendulum, it is a rather agile animal. Its weak point is that it is a large animal and often loses its prey because it cannot access certain corridors that are too narrow for it.